Evening. I want to welcome everyone to the Henderson County regular board of December the 18th, and we'll officially call this meeting to order. We begin with a moment of silence, and please remember all of those who were injured in Washington State this afternoon. I know these families are dealing with something like that. Thank you, everyone. Jeff Corsi, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Students, first thing we have to do is approve the agenda. Has everyone had a chance to review tonight's agenda? Any changes? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve the agenda as listed. Thank you, Ms. Tracy. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Agenda approved. Student and staff recognition. Ms. Morgan.
You're good. You're on. It's on.
We have one student this evening that we would like to recognize, and her name is Annie Slayton. So could I ask Annie Slayton, she is a student at East Heights Elementary School, to come forward, and her principal, Mrs. Odom, is going to join us up here. Andy, what grade are you in? Fifth grade student. And she was December's Judges Scholar, which means she got to go and attend physical court, sit up on a stool, I think up there probably by Steve Gold, our attorney, and they probably declared a certain particular day in December as Andy Slayton Day across Henderson County. So Ms. Odom, tell us some great things of leadership about Andy and why she was selected.
Well, one of the things that we recognize at East Heights are those leaders that are not necessarily the most outspoken or the people that are up in front of their class all the time speaking out. Andy's the kind of leader that you would call a quiet leader. You can see her doing the right thing consistently throughout the day. She is an exceptional student. She's an exceptional friend and classmate. And she's just the kind of person that has the character that you want our students to have. So her teachers and I agreed that she was the perfect person to be our Judges Scholar and to represent East Heights.
Anytime we have a leader like that in our student body, we like to bring them in front of the board, Andy, and give you a Medal of Excellence, which we will deliver to your school tomorrow. Make sure that you get. And I think you also have a special guest with you tonight. Who did you bring with you tonight? Amanda, would you come up and join us and then give a round of applause, please, to Andy and Mom. We'll take a quick picture. Thank you so much and congratulations. I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Moving on to public participation and recognition of guests, we have Mr. Tom Alves, who is asked to speak before the board.
Thank you. Found a poem. It's written by George Washington when he was 13 years old. Can you hear me all right? Titled On Christmas Day. Assist me, Muse divine, to sing the morn on which the Savior of mankind was born. But oh, what numbers to the theme can rise, unless kind angels aid me from the sky. Methinks I see the tuneful host descend, and with officious joy the scene attend. Hark, by their hymns directed on the road, the gladsome shepherds find the nascent God, and view the infant conscious of his birth, smiling to seek salvation to the earth. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tom. Do you realize Mr. Washington? Especially if they're kids. The next thing we need to do is approve the minutes from the prior meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from December the 7th special meeting? Are there any changes or additions to those minutes? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve the minutes as listed.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. I'll second that. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried, minutes approved. Thank you. Moving on to reports. We have a construction report. Mr. Randall Johnson.
As Mr. Johnson is coming forward to give us the report, we'd also like to share with you a short video clip. The board asked a month or so ago to put together something that if you can't go out and see Spotsville Elementary in the progress, that you could see it here. And so Ms. Mortis, our PR person, started last December in 2016 at our groundbreaking ceremony and put a series of pictures together for us. So.
I have to report since the last meeting, we've made a lot of progress on the building. Some of the areas, like the media center, that was open, now has roof joists in it and decking on, ready for concrete. If you're looking from US 60 toward the building, to your right is the west wing, to your left is the east wing. The second floor of the west wing, all except for the administration area, is all poured. Floors are poured with concrete. The plumbing has been pushed up through the floors, and the air conditioning, ductwork is in. Since the video, we have put the roof decking on the kitchen, approximately 85% on the cafeteria. The music room and the computer lab are ready for roof now. The decking is on. The bricklayers have to lay up a couple of layers of brick to be flashing in, and the roofers will come in. The west wing has the roof trusses on, except for the middle, up to a certain point. We'll be setting air conditioning units up in the west wing this week, and we'll finish up the trusses up there. The west wing, the trusses are on site. They will be set after Christmas. We are in the process of finishing up the center section of the building. The very front of the building, the block is being laid now. We've got to lay 2 hallways and the media room, the south side bit up and the north side up. And that will tie the building completely together from west side to east side. Once that is done, we'll put the mezzanine in there and set the remaining air conditioning and heating units up there. And we will start tying all the roof trusses together, putting decking on, and start the roof. We hope to get that started sometime in January. And hopefully we're pushing for everyone to be done by the last of January as far as the roof goes will be dry. Another thing we're doing is we're bringing the painters into the gymnasium right after the first of the year. So the ceiling will be painted and the walls will be painted. And as we continue to drive things in, the painters will proceed. The room is dry and ready to go. But in January, John and I will relook at the schedule once we get a good firm date on the roof and be able to schedule to you all that will give you a finished date. It's going real well. Everybody's working well together, and we want to push to keep this on. We have a change order in front of the board tonight. This change order was for the geothermal wells. It's basically just to change suppliers for the materials for the well. It costs the board nothing, but it changes it to a local supplier. The supplier that the geothermal well drillers had first approved, that y'all approved the purchase order for, they did not lock it in, unfortunately. So they were called and said that they had an increase in materials due to Hurricane Harvey, which that's typical for the type of materials we're using. So we'll be getting it fairly local here, and it is available. So if the board could approve that, that will get the geothermal people started. It should be mobilized this week. Any questions about anything going on at the school?
Any questions, board members? Glad to see you. Go ahead.
Yes, I will say this though. Wear boots. I have a few hard hats, but definitely you have to wear protective shoes. Okay. All right. Yeah, just come out and get the water to it. But if there's a large group of you, let me know in advance, so we've got everything. Enough hard hats and that's that.
Any other questions for members? I'm glad to see that I hated the original didn't go through and that we're going to have to do a change order, but this is a good thing to see that we're using some local suppliers and local supply. We like to keep that local as much as we can. If there's no objections to this change order, I'll look for a motion to approve change order number 24-6-1 and 24-7-1 for VG016 at the Scottsville School. Do I hear a motion to that effect? Thank you, Mr. Mike. Do I hear a second? Thank you, Dr. Sugg. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Change order approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Moving on to the athletic report. Mr. Jeff?
Good evening. As you can see the report, and I won't read it to you, but our fall sports have finished up. Most of them all have their banquet, and football has their banquet Wednesday evening. But our girls soccer and volleyball region champs again had a couple qualify for the cross country, and put in their football loss in the second round of the playoffs, and we won a playoff game, which we hadn't done in some time. So excited about that. And then you can see some all-state recognition from our girls soccer and our boys soccer, and also our volleyball. And then also there we had a Region 2 Player of the Year with Skip Patterson. Winter sports have gotten started. Boys basketball. The record I have up there they've played since I've turned in the report, and they are now 4-3, and our girls are 2-5. And we are girls basketball team. We have they're rebuilding, as you can say. And they're really young, but boy, they're exciting to watch. And our boys team is doing well. Their archery, and I forgot to mention Dan Melton is our coach of archery, and we've got 56 participants. Bowling, we've started bowling this year, and our boys team is 5-0, and so that's going real well. Girls team is 2-4. Bob Sexton is the coach. And then swimming, David Mushrush is the coach, and Rachel Hobson is helping him. And then also, we're going to put some new scoreboards up at gymnasium. I don't know if you've been to a basketball game and you've seen how our scoreboards act up quite a bit. Sometimes they go completely out and everything, but they're on the way, and we appreciate RC Cola for their donation to be able to get some scoreboards. And then hopefully they'll be here in time for the basketball tournaments, because we host the district basketball tournament for boys and girls, and also the boys region basketball tournament. We're hosting in March, February, March. So, and we had several that have done early signing to college. Haley Hope signed with Frontier College to play softball. Jake Willoughby and McLean Morris both signed with Kentucky Wesleyan to play baseball. Casey Chakowski signed with St. Louis to play volleyball. Peyton Carter signed with Murray to play golf. And J.C. Biggett signed with the University of Kentucky for pole vault. So we had some early signees, and we'll have some more coming up that have committed, and you'll hear seeing those in the news. All right, any questions?
Jeff, the Region 2 boys basketball tournament is being held here. Is that the first time we've ever had the regional tournament?
If it is, there could have been years ago that it was hosted here, but I'm not sure. But as far as recent, yes, because normally it's been at Hopkinsville or Madisonville.
Right. I was always told our gym was not large enough that they wouldn't allow us to host that. So
KHSA a couple years ago, they changed the criteria to host it, and so now we fit that criteria, even though it's, Mr. Thompson and I are pulling our heads out trying to figure out how we're going to get all these people.
I'm excited about that.
All right, yeah, we are too, but that we're able to host it and give our boys a chance where they don't have to get on a bus and travel to reach a tournament. Any other questions?
I saw that there was 56 listed on archery. Is that high school only?
That is high school, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
That's the only one that KHSAA manages, is the high school teams, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
We have other kids involved. in
Yes, we have several
Parking lots.
elementary, but as far as KHSA, it's just a high school. Yes, ma'am.
56 is a good.
Yes, it is.
All right, any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Moving on to student drug testing. Mr. Brian Garden.
Thank you all for inviting me to come back during the holiday season to share what I think is very good news with our drug testing program. At the high school, we have, you can see that we've tested 140 students, and we've had 98% of those students test negative. We've had 2% of the students have tested positive. Those students were tested positive for marijuana. And at the middle school, I'm excited. Middle schools, we haven't had any kids test positive for any illegal drugs. So I think the kids are on board with it. I think the parents are also. I've received positive feedback from the parents I've talked to, and the kids I've interacted with. Do you have any questions for me?
I think I know the answer to this, but the students that did test positive, we did reach out to them and provide assistance.
Yes.
For them, correct?
We did.
As part of our original plan.
Yeah, we try to offer outside counseling opportunities for them.
Were these numbers what you expected when we first started with this, or are you
I wasn't
surprised?
sure what it was going to be. I'm surprised, pleasantly surprised. But I'm excited about the direction we're going. I think with our coaches and our kids that are involved in extracurricular, they understand the importance of this. I think they're making good decisions, better decisions.
I've heard positive support, not just from parents, but from members of our community that don't even have kids in school anymore. I think it's a positive thing. Yeah. Any other questions or comments from board members? Questions on that? Thank you, sir. You've done a
Thank you.
wonderful job. Let's keep this up. Moving on to civics test graduation requirement. Ms. Kim, you're next, Chick.
Thank you all. Last spring, when the General Assembly met, they passed Senate Bill 159, which is a graduation requirement for all students who attend public high school. In order to graduate, they have to pass a civics test. And it is and the law reads this actually begins in July of 2018, so we're just being proactive and coming to you all to talk with you about this. It is already in board policy, as you see, since it was passed by the legislature. And so the law reads that beginning in July 2018, a student has to pass a civics test composed of 100 questions to graduate from a public high school with a regular diploma. Each local board of education will be expected to prepare or approve an exam that must be composed of questions from the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services test. Students are required to score 60% or higher and can retake the test as many times as deemed necessary to pass it. So some other things as far as the board can determine, they decide how the test is administered and implemented. Again, we talked about what they have to pass and as many times as they need to take it. We also will be documenting the grade in Infinite Campus so that it appears on students' transcripts, obviously with students transferring to different schools within the state as well as other states. And any student who has passed a similar test within 5 previous years does not have to take the test, provided we have documentation of that. And so, as well as any students who have IEPs, 504s, or PSPs, any of those accommodations, they are permissible on this exam and are provided to the student as needed. So at this time, we became aware of this last spring. Being proactive as we are, Henderson County High School and Central Academy, we all met in the fall, teachers, administrators, and had conversation about this. Because again, it doesn't go into effect for this class of 2018, it goes into effect for the class of 2019. And in looking at that, obviously the curriculum that is on this test are things that are already being taught through our American Studies classes and U.S. History classes. And so at this time, and there's also the option of doing the version of the test paper pencil or online, so we can accommodate students either way there. The Central Academy does most of their coursework online anyway, so that was definitely a preference of theirs. So at this point, our Central Academy and high school have already been testing students at grades 10 and 11. Obviously, the senior class, it's not a requirement for them at all. And at this time, 98% of our juniors at Henderson County High School have already passed this assessment. I think there are only 8 left as of the other day. I don't know for sure. I know we were testing them every day, so I could be off on the numbers just a little bit.
Down to 6.
Down to 6, okay, even better. So that probably is like 98.7% or something. And 93% of our sophomores have already also passed this exam. And so this is something, as we said, will be documented on their transcript. And if they transfer in or out anywhere else in Kentucky at this point, they'll be okay. We actually have a student at the academy who's come from Tennessee who's already taken a similar test. So again, within 5 years of his graduating, he's good to go. But we wanted you all to be aware of this as to how we're currently implementing it. And then the plan for the future is obviously looking at doing this with sophomores because it is primarily American Studies curriculum and content they will get there. And then if remediation or reteaching is needed as a junior or senior, students have as many opportunities as they need in order to pass this test. And again, because it is a graduation requirement, there is motivation obviously for them to do so. So we just kind of wanted to come to the board, make you all aware of this. It already is in policy, not anything you have to vote on or approve, but hope that you are in acceptance of what we are doing with this and how we are doing this at this time. And if there are any changes you would like for us to make, so please let us know.
Hold on a second, Kim.
Yes,
Reading your policy here. You're saying that it doesn't have to be approved by the board because it's already part of the policy, but it says the board has to approve the test.
Yes, the test is provided by the state. I mean, it is as it said, it is the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services test, which is the 100-question test.
Oh, you didn't, we didn't have to pick on
no,
that?
ma'am. No, because that's all that there are.
Okay. But that policy says that the test has to be approved. I know it's being provided, I get that.
Yes, ma'am.
But that does not, we do not have to have an action on that.
We can most definitely do so if you all would like to read it as that is written.
Somebody who's better at reading policy and make it stick to it. What is best, Beth? Huh? That's the way it reads. Fair or approved by the board.
And the test is provided for us. Yes, ma'am, we'll be happy to provide it for you.
If we can just put it on the January agenda, it's just a housekeeping thing, but just reading it, it's like.
Yes, ma'am. We will be happy to do that. And it doesn't go into, like we said, it doesn't officially go into effect until next school year, so we're not. Absolutely, we can do that. We can have that in the work session if you'd like to. We could do that. Most definitely. But yes, it is easily, it is a publicly accessible, test. To do that, we were very fortunate that through one of the groups through the University of Kentucky, they actually made it accessible online where students could do it in different components and didn't have to do the whole 100 questions at one time if they weren't able to manage that much. But no, we will absolutely bring you a hard copy of the test for you to see and approve. Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions for me?
You're welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Moving on to old business. School calendar. Mr. Steve Steiner.
This is our second reading for the 1819 school calendar. And we've seen that for a month now. It's working with our principals to make sure that we are requires an opinion from the calendar committee, to have a motion.
Would look to have a motion to approve that after all that was said.
Board members, any questions? Changes to that? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve the 2018-2019 school calendar as listed. Thank you, Mr. Knight. Do I hear a second? Thank you, Dr. Sugg. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Calendar set. Moving on to new business. ABA update, Ms. Morgana.
Sure, this is just a brief update to share with you that I had an initial conversation with Harley Heath. He, along with a board, oversees the ABA programs that affect and impact our kids. I first tried to communicate to him at the beginning and at the end that we're very appreciative in the partnership and the work that board does for our students. A few concerns that we talked about moving into ABA and All-Star season was looking at supervision, improved supervision, improved communication, and cleanup and custodial services on the weekends. ABA, whether it's school baseball, ABA season, or All-Star, they utilize our gyms, our facilities on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Not have scheduled games on Sunday, but a lot of times you'll see practices going on. And so I communicated with Harley and requested that in February and in March, when ABA and their board is looking to set a schedule for the following year, that we wanted to be very much a part, the school system, of scheduling youth football, ABA school baseball, ABA basketball schedule, ABA All-Stars, and how all of those could and should flow. And then I just wanted you all to be aware that there are other traveling leagues, teams that are requesting gym usage as also. So in January, February, I'd like to put this item back on the agenda to have some input from you all and guidance in looking forward as to ABA's contract. I really couldn't tell you how old it is, but it has to be 25 years or more. I'm thinking when we first entered into ABA providing school baseball. So and it's just grown. It's grown for the number of nights that our facilities are in use. And again, we want to keep a good partnership with them, but it does have wear and tear on our facilities. And I would just ask you all to consider to relook at that contract and let me give you some feedback as far as what our principals are saying and other coaches, principals at the elementary, middle school level, and then coaches involved with all of those as well. So does anybody have any particular questions at this point or comments they'd like to make? Okay, so I'm just going to keep working on that topic and we'll bring some more information back to you all. Sounds good. We appreciate that.
Moving on to BG1 for the emergency HVAC replacement at Midgate.
Yes, unexpectedly last Monday, December 11th, the HVAC system that provides heat to the 4th grade pod stopped working, and it is not repairable. Now, according to our maintenance department, and so Mr. Austell recommended that we would need to replace the HVAC system in the 4th grade pod. That amount was around $33,000. Total project cost is $34,650. Cindy Cloutier and Steve Steiner immediately started to work with the Kentucky Department of Education. We received verbal confirmation, and then even later that afternoon, we do have written confirmation to go ahead and order what we need, and then tonight have the BG1 approved from the board. So we have already ordered the HVAC, have plans for installation. Our maintenance department also immediately went and got classroom heaters so that the students were not cold throughout the day. They monitored classroom temperatures with thermometers, and they also have the option to relocate the classrooms if they would have needed. either to cafeteria or gym or to the media center. So we had a plan in place at the school level, but tonight I'm requesting approval for BG1 that you weren't expecting, I wasn't expecting, but it's something that we definitely need to take care of.
Any questions, board members? Ms. Morgana, I know that Bedgate, along with several other heating and air projects, were on our list when we were working on getting our nickel tax approved. That was part of the plan that we needed the nickel tax for. Before I assume anything, I'm guessing that this particular heating and air unit will be able to go forward even if and when we change Bedgate's configuration and renovation, because we talked about this, so this will go forward and it won't make a difference what kind of.
Correct. And it also is a piece of equipment that is not in the performance contract. As you all remember, we added into the performance contract an HVAC unit at Bedgate also that Hershaw Train is working on that they'll bring back to the board January, February. Exactly.
It's the other system because Bedgate has two.
Has several.
Okay.
Yes. So this one that we need will keep as we.
The one we were planning on replacing, but now it's. All right. Thank you. Let's see, we need a motion to approve the BG1 for BG 18-227 emergency HVAC replacement at Bedgate. Do I hear a motion to that effect? Thank you, Mr. West. Do I hear a second? I'll second that. All in favor say aye. Excuse me, what? Oh, excuse me. What's the time frame involved?
He said 15 days, really shared with me that it'll be 15 days to build it or to get it in. And then at that point, they'll work with us to get it on site. And they'll put that, take the other one down and put the other one up. The name of the group is
MCI is a construction group. It's a train rooftop unit. Yes.
One thing I'd like to add too, if it's okay. Billy called me as soon as he found out, and Billy was actually on vacation. And so that was a vacation day for him. And because he's a stand-up guy, because he does what he does, he was there pretty much all day. So his vacation was at Bedgate Central Office with Cindy working on some things. So I didn't want to say that it's a big deal for us. It's a big deal for it's a big deal or anywhere else, but it's a big deal. So.
Thank you, Mr. Austin. We totally appreciate that, your dedication to our kids. This is coming out of general fund, correct, Ms. Cindy? It is, okay. Any other questions? No, you're totally fine. I believe we have a motion and a second, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. BG approved. Let's get some heat. And next one is the change order for the Henderson County miscellaneous repairs and replacement. Got a couple change orders. Ms. Morgana?
Yes, this change order is not anything that the contractor initiated. This change order actually is a request from our technology department. And on the third page in your packet, it talks about the request to replace or relocate the data rack cabinet at the Henderson County High School. The data rack or cabinet, it's their kind of one of their main controls, right now is currently located in instructional coach's office. It puts off a lot of heat, makes a lot of noise, and there's people in and out of her office, so it's not well protected, I would say, at this point either. And so this directly relates to the new office enclosure in the lobby. So to make the new office enclosure, it's more than just the bricks and mortar and glass that are going to be put there. They also have to completely run new data drops. Our people do. And so while we're getting ready to run new data drops, it makes sense to put the new data rack and cabinet in a different location, which is really only a few feet from where it's located. but it is moving it outside of the instructional coach's office. It'll protect it better. And we have money in the contingency to be able to do that. And so when we looked at what would the cost be, it's a great benefit. Can we just go ahead and build it right into this project rather than having to use general fund money to do that, just use the contingency construction. So that's what this BG1 is for. It has nothing to do with the contractor. It's really funneled through our technology department in a request to make something more efficient, being able to use construction money. The total cost of that project is $4,053.75, and I believe it still leaves $1,800 in contingency.
Are there architectural fees involved in this change order?
Yes, they definitely would have their right to do that, and they still have to oversee the full project of when it's being done. It's $100 piece of their fee, something like that.
Any questions regarding this change order from the board? Comments? Hearing none, I look for a motion to approve change order 01 for BG 17-218, Henderson County High School. Do I hear a motion to that effect? Thank you, Dr. Sugg. Do I hear a second? Thank you, Ms. Tracy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. On to school lighting. Making good use of all this money.
Yes. This is a change order, and this comes directly from the vendor. It is a South Middle School auditorium light replacement. Craig Thomas from RBS attached a letter that's, I think, very simplistic in explaining what has occurred. And just kind of in summary, the project was bid as a fixture retrofit. However, as they got into it, the lighting fixtures there were much older. You can't really retrofit. In quotes, it says that the compression spring would not fit properly in the existing fixture. And so their recommendation is to just do a replacement, which would be an additional $6,389. I did ask Craig Thomas when he first shared this with us, who else bid on this and would it be beneficial to us, because now we're not using the same type of fixture at all, just to look at another vendor. And so we did pull out the other vendor that bid, and they were $14,000 difference, right, higher. And so by allowing this company who has already been in there and assessed it and found a fixture that is compatible to be able to be installed there, it would cost us more money, but it would still be $8,400 less than looking at the other vendor at this point.
Board members, any questions, comments regarding that? I think we all heard about this before, so this is 2 BG items for one project, is that correct? BG4 and BG5?
No, this is D. This is just one change order for BG 17-216.
Change order 01. I got you. I look for a motion to approve change order 01 for BG 17-216 South Middle School. Thank you, Mr. Mike. I'll second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Now on to BG 4 and 5. This is for East Heights.
We're just needing to get approval for the BG 4 and 5 so that we can close out this East Heights Lane project.
Any questions, board members? Hearing none, I look for a motion to approve BG 4 and BG 5. Close out of BG 17-020 East Heights Elementary. Thank you, Mr. Mike. Do I hear a second? Thank you, Ms. Tracy. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to January 2018 board meeting. Ms. Morgan.
The January 2018 board meeting traditionally fall on the third Monday, and that will be a holiday. So I'd like to ask the board if they would consider holding our January board meeting on Tuesday the 16th. And the second option could be on Monday the 22nd, a week later. I think in the last couple of years, we've just moved to Tuesday the 16th. January 16th, Tuesday.
First official meeting, so it is a special call board meeting, correct?
Correct. That meeting, you will
Set our
determine,
agenda.
right, well, determine the rest of the meeting
Rest of
dates.
the meeting dates, but that one has to be special because it's not, we haven't set the agenda yet. Is that correct? Okay. I look for a motion to approve January 16th. Oh, sorry? Oh. Does anyone have a problem with doing it on the 22nd instead of the 16th? Okay. 22nd it is, Mr. Knight. Thank you for reminding us. Okay. Well, there's no objections. Do it on the 16th, we're going to be missing one member, and we don't want to do that. 22nd it is. Do I hear a motion to approve January 22nd?
I'll make a motion.
Do I hear a second? Oh, thank you, Ms. Tracy. Thanks. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? January 22nd, Tuesday, special call board meeting. Just set a new agenda. Okay. Superintendent mid-year review.
And the last few years, we have put in place a mid-year review, and that's a special session. It's usually held 30 or 45 minutes before or after a regular call board meeting. And so I would ask if you all would consider doing that in January, obviously January 22nd. So that could be 30 minutes to 45 minutes before or after. It's at the board's pleasure.
So before 5:30? How long before? 5:15, we did that 45 minutes last time. So 5:15 on the 22nd, is that okay with everyone? For mid-year review? Okay, so we do not need an action on that, just add it to your agenda.
I assume the format would be the same, where I bring information to share. There's nothing formal.
Not like we do for normal, yes. Okay, moving on. You say that
Done.
when you get when you sit in front of her?
That's your review done.
Okay, moving on to the consent agenda, we have 4 items on there: approved retiree resolutions, approved student overnight trip request, approved school activity fundraiser request, and approved bid recommendations. Are any of those items need to be pulled or discussed? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve consent agenda as listed. Thank you, Ms. Tracy. I'll second that. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Consent agenda approved. Moving on to the treasurer's report. Ms. Cindy.
Treasurer's report for the month of November. We had total receipts of $16,516,281. Total expenses of $7,561,692, for a net increase in all funds of $8,954,590. Any questions on the treasurer's report? Much better.
They give you a warm, fuzzy feeling for a while.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I request the board's approval for the treasurer's report as presented tonight by Cindy Cloutier.
Thank you, Ms. Marganic. Your motion to approve the financial report, treasurer's report as listed.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Can we stop for just a second? Do we have student ambassadors in the back of the room? You do? Can you all stand up and quickly identify yourself? We apologize, we didn't recognize you earlier. Who do we have this evening?
I'm Libby Dockmeyer. I'm Cameron Carter.
I'm Shane Washington.
Thank you all. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you all. And moving on to the paint board report.
The paid board report covers the period of November 21st through December 18th. It includes total payments of $3,241,709.97. Any questions on the paid board?
Yeah, so there goes your warm and fuzzy, right?
Just when I first glanced at it, I thought we paid about $43,000 for crackers, but I didn't see it.
Well, over $1 million of that went for Scottsville.
Madam Chair and members of the board,
Right, see it, it's like, and I went across and saw $145,000. A lot of crackers.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I respectfully request your approval for the paid warrant report as presented tonight by Cindy Cloutier.
Thank you. I look for a motion
Make
to.
that motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And do I hear a second? Thank you, Dr. Sugg. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Personnel actions. Be it noted that we have received personnel actions and reviewed those, which included several retirees. And looks like thank you all for coming.